We are having a really good week with regards to COVID-19. Again, number of cases are low, not just what we're testing at Auburn, but even in the county and the surrounding areas. Across the state, we're seeing the same process. So things are looking good as we head into the last 2 to 3 weeks of the semester. So I'm personally and professionally excited. I think it has gone better than we expected. So Auburn, even the governor's mandate expired, but due to the wisdom of the virus, again, like I said before, the virus hasn't listened to any governor yet. We are still requiring masks indoors and encouraging masks outdoors, especially when you are unable to distance 6 feet or more from other individuals. So indoor masks in classrooms, offices, etc. Except for certain circumstances, if you have a private office and you're there alone, then you can have your mask off. But if anybody enters that office, both you and anyone that enters should have a mask on in an effort to reduce any risk of transmission. So the best practices starts with number one, wearing masks and wearing them appropriately and consistently. The second is sanitizing your hands on a regular basis, whether you wash it with soap and water or with hand sanitizer. And then the third, whenever possible, you should try to distance yourself. The other one is to daily do an evaluation of your symptoms, whether you do the app or whether you just get accustomed to doing it. And if you start showing symptoms or are sick, or you have been exposed, then do the right thing, get evaluated, get tested, initially quarantine yourself in those circumstances. I just want to again thank a year ago, a number of volunteers came out and made face coverings, cloth masks. I have been using this one consistently for a year, and it really helped out a lot of people when masks were not available. So for those who volunteered and made these masks, just know that there's an ironic reason why I've worn this mask every week for these videos and continue to use this mask on an ongoing basis. Absolutely, yes. Whether you've had the virus or you haven't had the virus, I highly encourage you to get the vaccine. There's no question the science as far as its protectiveness at this point, reducing the chance of transmission to others, especially as the summer comes and you're going to interact more. I highly encourage you to go ahead and get it. The evidence shows that the vaccination provides better and stronger immunity than the actual disease itself, unless you had a severe case of it, which is normally not the circumstance with young people in the student age population. So get the vaccine. As of this point, there is no intention that Auburn's going to mandatorily require the vaccine for students. As a state institution, it will require action by the legislature. But there are very few, if any, entities, although we've seen some universities, mostly private, come out recently talking about mandatory vaccination. Again, this is going to boil down to each individual doing the right thing and taking a personal accountability. We highly encourage that you get the vaccine, but I don't anticipate it's going to be mandatory. Summer is, again, a great time for people to get vaccinated because there will be lots of vaccine doses available, lots of locations to get it. We're going to be more outdoors. The temperatures are warmer. So that works towards decreasing the spread of the virus. So we expect that over the summer, there will be a dip in cases, which is something we wanted. Of course, last summer we have precedents and learned that the virus doesn't go away because the temperatures went up. It continued to spread. We will have some super spreading events, everything from Mother's Day to Memorial Day into July 4th. So there are some, again, areas of concern that historically last year we saw. And of course, this year people have more COVID fatigue. So there's a tendency to be less vigilant about the process. So we're just going to wait and see how this goes. But pretty much a lot of the mitigating factors still work. First of all, let's talk about the variants. The research is telling us that these variants are more infectious and in cases more potentially causing severe disease or deadly. The good part about the research, it's telling us too that the vaccines that we're using in the US appear to be relatively effective against most of the variants that are being identified. The most recent data to come out this week is that it appears that both the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine continue to give adequate immunity 6 months out. So whereas before, and again, this isn't the official CDC stance right now, but whereas before we were talking about 90 days post your second vaccine, it looks like we're going to head closer towards 6 months. That recommendation probably will be coming out within the next couple weeks. One other piece of data that just came out also about the research is the need for deep cleaning and the degree of sanitizing. And like I've said before, in months ago, there's not been any evidence of COVID being contracted through touching surfaces. So that data has now come out that basically said, yes, it's theoretically possible, but based on hundreds of thousands and millions of cases, it's found that that is not how it spread. This is still a respiratory aerosolized virus spread and not surface related. But that does not mean that you do not need to sanitize your hands, and we will continue to encourage wiping down heavily touched surfaces or frequently touched surfaces.